Alright, it's a couple of days later. I'm actually on leave now, which is good. Did bugger all yesterday. Went out for dinner last night. And I just thought I'd come out and have a little bit of a play with the car. I did want to get all my stereo stuff started, but I'm just feeling a bit lazy. I'm just enjoying chilling out. So I thought I'd drag the car over to the shed and just have a look at the paint, because I know the body on this is really good, but I just wanted to have a look at how well it's going to polish up. Now all I done was I just gave this a bit of a spray with some soapy water, some car wash in the bottle, gave it a wipe down, so that was sort of like its wash, just the guard. And then I gave it a bit of a clay bar, quick clay bar. And then I've just hit it with some Maguire's cutting compound on a new pad. Just this stuff. And it seems to work really well for what it is. It's just cheap stuff that you can get from Super Cheap or Autobarn. And I've used it on a couple of cars now, and I'm not sure if it's picking up the finish, but it's come up really nice. Just done a quick job on it. I'm going to sort of go over the whole car with the compound and then hit it with a polish. I've got a, where is it? Oh, this one as well. The polish to do the second stage, I guess you'd call it. So you go over it with this one once you've done the cut all over the car. There's a couple of, I wouldn't say they're faded, but they're just sort of chalky. I'm not sure if that camera's picking it up, but there's some chalky areas just through the back here on the roof. It's mostly just that part there, which isn't really a problem. Maybe even a little bit here, actually. I can just sort of see in the light. Yeah, so just down this little part of the rear quarter, literally just a couple of little spots. But you can see there, I still haven't washed this thing. It's a little bit covered in crap. And yeah, I just wanted to see how the paint would come up, and it looks pretty good. Like, it's really nice. I'm not going to worry about hitting that with the compound now, because I want to actually just use one pad for the cutting compound and one for the polish. That's the only thing when you're polishing a car, you sort of want to have the whole thing ready to go, and this definitely isn't. So I just did this just to kill some time, and I was just sitting here and I thought I'll just give it a quick polish just on that guard. And yeah, it's come up really nice, but yeah, the car's not quite ready to be polished yet. Like I said, I need to wash the whole thing and get it where I can just hit it and do the whole thing in one go. I mean, look at the front, it's just covered in bugs. So yeah, we'll get to that. It's not really a priority until I paint the skirts and that anyway. But I would like to maybe start getting it to look nice, so I can, when they're bolted on, the paint's ready to go as well. And a pretty cool thing, my son bought me a spray gun which arrived yesterday. So bought it online from England. It's meant to be a pretty good quality gun for the price. It's like an entry level gun, but pretty good for the price. So it's a DeVilbiss FLG5, so that's another job that we can start doing as well. It's pretty cool. Be able to get the side skirts and the bumper started, so might be able to get them done very soon as well. All these little jobs to do. Alright, it's a day or so later. I haven't really been out here consistently, just been doing things inside and just chillaxing really. I've just been sitting out here this afternoon enjoying the weather with the missus, and just sort of got started on this rear quarter, because this rear quarter had some paint fade here. Well, not paint fade, but just that chalky look like the roof's got just here, you can see there. I thought, I might just get a start on the boot lid. I thought while I'm doing it I might install the reverse camera, so I thought I'd just film that. I've taken off the chrome trim that holds the number plate lights, and there's two little spots of rust here, just there, or maybe three. Nothing major, but I'll get most of that off. I'll give this a clean up, because I was going to polish the whole boot, and I thought, oh, you know, to do it properly I sort of want to take this off, and if I took that off I needed to put the reverse camera in, because I knew I wanted to have one in there, and I've got it now, so I thought I might as well do it. So the rust isn't really anything to worry about, it's just a couple of little spots. I do have some rust converter in a can just there, So what I might do is, I'm not even really too fussed about it, to be honest. What I might do is just clean it up, see how it cleans up, and have a look at it. I might put a little bit of rust converter on it and see what happens. I might even just leave it. But this is the trim that came off it. I've just given that a bit of a detailer brush. All the back there was filled with dust, filled. It was pretty caked on there. So I just gave it a brush with a detailer brush and some soapy water, and then actually no, I used some degreaser in it actually. Yeah, I sprayed degreaser on it with the brush and then just went and hosed it off with some fresh water, and it's come up good. So this is the reverse camera that I got. It's the same as the one I had in the other car. So I'm just trying to mark a center. I'm using these dots as the as reference to get the center of the garnish or trim, so I can mount this little guy. Which one it was? It's like 4. So there's 27 of these little dots. So obviously the 14th one is the one in the bang in the middle. And then I'll try and find out sort of how far back I want the camera to sit and mark a little guide, and then I'll get a hole drilled in there. All right, I've marked the center of where I want to start the drill, which is right there. So I'm just going to start it with a little tiny drill bit, and then I'll work my way up to a bigger size with the step bit till the camera fits in there nicely. Alrighty, I've drilled that out. I need to go one more step bigger for the camera to sit in the hole. It's just a bit too, well, it won't go. I'm using just a step drill bit to get in there, a brand new one. So it's really sharp, going through like butter, which is making it easy. So the only thing I had to do with this, so obviously all reverse cameras are different, but the way this one works is it just gets held on by this little bracket. It's screwed to the back of the camera just by 2 little screws, and the little legs, so they'll sort of wedge the camera between, the legs will wedge between whatever you're mounting it to and the camera itself to hold it in place. But this actually comes on this cable already fitted. So what I just did is I just snipped through it with a pair of snips, just these ones. Just gently, just one nice clean cut, and then just pried it open, just enough to get that cable out. So now I can feed that through. Otherwise you'd have to drill a hole big enough to feed this through as well, and then you'd just have a massive hole, and this thing wouldn't be in there very tight. So it'd literally be just relying on this holding it in there, which could work, but yeah, not ideal, because they're only tiny little screws into plastic. So I'll drill this out one more step, and hopefully that'll fit in nicely and snug, and then we'll look at putting the cable through. Alrighty, we just took that out one more step with the step drill bit. I'll just feed the wire through, or cable. They do give you a little hole saw for doing it, but yeah, I'd rather do it with my own drill bit so I know it's the bang on right size. This just go in the bin, just cheap junk. It would have done the job, especially going in plastic, but yeah, like I said, it would have done probably drilled a hole way too big. Just feed this through. It should fit now, I haven't tested it yet, but nice. So that'll just sit in there nicely. So now I can just slot this back over the cable and put it back, the feet on behind the camera itself, and put the 2 screws back in, and then it just sort of works on just sort of getting pushed in off these legs. These legs will be under sort of pressure, and that'll hold it in place. Alright, now what I've done, I've just slotted that back over the cable, bent it sort of back flat again, so it's how it's meant to be, and we'll just slot that on the back of the camera down there, and those legs are going to hold it on. I'll just bend them a little bit just to give it a bit of bite, and then the pressure of those legs held in by the 2 little screws is enough to hold it on. So we'll get those screws in. All done. It's on there nice and secure. The screws are just going into like plastic, so you Just got to be a bit gentle, pushing them in, tightening them up. Don't over tighten them. But it's in there nice and firm, not going anywhere. So I'll get that back on the car. Now before we put it back on, I'm going to clean all this crud off this boot lid. And try and clean up this rust. I don't think I'm going to worry about treating it. I think it'll be fine. So I'm just going to give it a spray. Again, just car wash. Wipe most of this crap off with a clean rag. Beautiful. Alright, gave that a bit of a wipe down. I'm just going to hit the whole boot now with the clay bar and some soapy water, and it'll get all this residual crud off. And then once we've clay barred it, I'll hit it with a bit of cut and polish and hopefully get these streaks of rust off. I've just given that a good spray with some soapy water. Still going off the same piece of clay that I've got. It's still surviving. And for this sort of pretty dirty stuff, it's alright to use an older piece. Because you're going to get quite a bit of crap in it. As you can see, it gets a lot of that rusty crap off straight away. Alrighty, got the whole boot lid clay barred. Haven't worried about doing any of the bumper along the bottom. I'm just mostly wanting to get this done so I can put this garnish back on and not have to worry about taking it off again later. So if I can get most of this now, I can. While I can, I will. Start polishing the boot with some compound. I'll probably do the whole lot. I was going to just focus on that area to get that garnish on, but got a little bit of light left, so I'll get that polished and then get that garnish back on. So yeah, I'm going to get the polisher out and hit the boot lid with the same compound, and then I'll probably quickly go over it with the polish as well. So I'll get that done before it gets too dark. Okay, well, that's the boot lid polished up. It's come up mint. Only thing was, I was sort of polishing in blind, because where it is and the colour of the car, it's really hard to see any sort of reflection, so I couldn't really see where I was going. So I was just trying to keep the passes even with the polisher. But yeah, so I've just given that compound and a polish, and I've just hit it with a spray on wax as well. I might give it another wax and then that'll be done just with this stuff. And then I'll put that garnish back in and call it a day. And before I go putting the garnish back on, I'm just gonna clean up this little loom that goes in for the number plate lights, which go in here. And I'll probably take out these halogen globes. One of them was a bit dicky. It would work sometimes and then not work, so it's probably just a loose connection. But I've got some LEDs. I think I might put these ones in. I've got these ones. These are a nice bright white light, but these are a bit more of a bulb style, so I might put 2 of those in and replace those halogens. I was going to tape all this up nicely, but you can't really put tape on it because these wires run through these little slots in the back of this garnish. So if it was taped up, it might be a bit difficult to get them back in. I'm just going to give a rag a bit of a spray with some clean water and just wipe this down. It's got a bit of dust on it, and give these a bit of a tickle with the brush as well with some water on them. Just get all that poo off. So I'll do that. And the only other thing I have to do while I'm here is, because this harness has to run in through the little grommet which goes into the boot, this one, I need to make a little slot. So I'm just going to put a nick in through here, or a slice. And then I can just tuck the reverse camera wire in with those wires. It's just a rubber grommet. I don't think it'll leak water. Yeah, should be fine. I've got a little bit of Tessa tape left. You can use this stuff, or even the car builders do one. It's just like a fleece tape. I like to wrap a lot of stuff in that just to tidy things up. It's a bit of a queer thing that I like to do just to make things look tidy. So I'm going to wrap this half up, and then I'll see how I go doing these ones. I'm not sure if I'll do these because they've got to clip into those slots, but if I tape it tight, it might even still work. See how we go. I'll do this bit first. All right, just quickly done that one. So that bit's done. I just like to do that. If put it in car stereo in as well, so anything like that that's covering any sort of wires that can rattle. I mean, you probably wouldn't even hear them at the back of the car, but yeah, just looks tidier as well. All right, I'll put the splice in this and go and look at fitting it back into the car. Now all I've done is I've got a new razor blade and just put a slit in this rubber, just enough. It's got to go down past the bit that actually locks into the boot, so that little lip where I can poke the cable through. And that being pushed back in the car should hold it all together. I think that'll be fine. Now before I start putting it back in the car, I've got to put on the little these little rubber grommets. These just sit on the little post there, which I took off when I cleaned it. So I'll put those back on, but I'm just going to give these a bit of a clean as well, get all the shit off these before we put them back on. All right, like everything else, they just got a brush and a spray with some soapy water. Come up pretty good. So I'll pop them back into the garnish and then sit all this back in the car, and then I'll have a look when it's in the car of where I've got to feed this through that grommet. So I'll clip these in and then we'll have a look. Okay, it's all ready to go back in. I've wired up all the back of these. I haven't put the globes in yet because LEDs are they go off polarity, so it has to be in the right way. So I'll plug it all in the car and then I'll put these in last just to make sure they work, because these can be a bit of a pain to get out otherwise. I've just taped all that reverse camera wiring in with the other wiring, and it just comes out here, so that can run up into the car off to where that needs to go. And I've just put a little cable tie inside there just to hold all that together. It's just loose on there, it's not too tight, so I can slide in and out, and then by the time that squeezes up, I'm hoping that that'll all just push up nicely. I did cut a tiny piece of rubber out of the bottom corner here just for this black cable to sit in. So we'll get it in and see how it's looking. Just fed the wires through, it's all sitting beautifully. You can see the little nick there. If you're really paranoid, you could put some silicone on there. I'm not too fussed about it, to be honest. And it's not just by chance I've got the cut at the top. My theory is that hopefully the water will run around, and if anything it would have gone in at the bottom and not there. Yeah, see what happens. But yeah, it's all there. I'll put the nuts on now and get it all back on. All right, it's all back on. Looks bloody good if you ask me. So all the wiring just pokes back through the hole there, and that's how it looks. Let's see if I can get a better angle with the reverse wire there, reverse camera wire. So let's just pop that with it. Can't even tell. And yeah, I'll just run all that up along with the rest of the wiring when I to fit the rest of the stereo. But I just wanted this part in the car so it was ready to go. Feed that over. Where the bloody hell is it? There it is. So it's all there together. I might just put a cable tie on that for now, just to stop that from flapping about, because I don't want to damage these two connections. I'll just cable tie them up there to this harness, just keep them out the way for now. And plug that back in, which is just there. And Bob's your uncle. And then the last thing to do, which again will be later when I finish it off, I'll have to run the other wire which connects to this one down here, through the boot, through this grommet, and in under the parcel shelf. But yeah, we'll get to that another day. I'll get that all plugged in and we'll test out the tail light globe, the number plate lights. The lights are working, so that's all done. That's the final product. Paint's come up really nice for what it is. I'm happy with it. I just got to put the carpet boot trim on now, and that's it for the night. All right, boot trim's all on. It's all finished. That looks pretty tidy there, I think. Nice subtle reverse camera. Nothing that's going to hang down too far over the number plate. I don't know what the quality of it is like, but it's literally just for reversing, so it doesn't need to be fancy. It's supposed to be HD. I don't know if it's 720 or 1080, but yeah. But yeah, another job done. Call it a night.